welcome to another episode of Magnum Videos. Today we're going to cook a pork tenderloin outside on the Dyna Glo grill. We're going to go through the whole process from the very beginning until the end when we actually taste it. So stick around, we're going to start right after this. Alright, let's get started. We have a beautiful pork tenderloin here. It's actually two halves. And the first thing we're going to do is remove what's known as silver skin because it's tough and chewy, and we don't want tough and chewy. We want tender and delicious. So we'll just take this silver skin off of here. Try to get most of it, but you don't have to get it all. And it's not very time consuming. It doesn't take long, and we'll be done here in just a minute. And when we get finished with this, we will create the glaze that's going to go on here, so that it's going to give it a good not really spicy, but more of a tangy and sweet flavor when it's done. So I'll be back in a minute and we'll get the glaze going. Alright, we've got the pork tenderloins ready to put on the grill. Almost. We've got a couple things to do first, but meanwhile we're going to concoct the glaze that goes with this. We're going to start out with a little bit of DIJON mustard. This is a brand new bottle, so I'm going to have to pull the safety cap off. Alright, we're going to do about maybe a fourth of a cup, maybe not quite that much. Well, that's quite a bit of meat. Alright, so about like that. Approximately a fourth of a cup, and then a couple of tablespoons of maple syrup. That's one, that's two. It's almost a half and half look when you look at it, and then a little bit of maybe a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. We're just about out of that. So let me get a spoon. And we will mix this up. We could heat it if you wanted to, but it mixes pretty easy at room temperature. Alright, so that's ready to go. All we're going to need to apply that is a pastry brush. And I'll find that, there we go, right there. So we'll take that out in a little bit. We will need our meat thermometer, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But meanwhile, we've got the tenderloin ready to go. I'm going to put just a little bit of mustard on here, and that is a binder. There we go. A little bit of mustard there, a little bit of mustard there. We'll just rub that around a little bit on here. This should be a very tender cut when we're through with it. But pork tenderloin does not have a great deal of flavor, so we're going to have to add the flavor to it by putting the glaze on it and a little bit of rub that we're going to use here. And what we're using is a Blue Ribbon pork rub. We're just going to sprinkle a generous amount of that on here, and we'll turn it over and do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to put a little bit of coarse ground sea salt, and a little bit of ground black pepper. This is a very generous pepper shaker, and I usually get too much on it. And I think, unless I'm forgetting something, that is all we need. It's very windy out here, so I hope the wind noise isn't excessive. But we have our tenderloins ready to go. Our grill is setting right at 350, perfect temperature. So we're going to take these off of here. We're going to put them on the grill and let them sear. Try to get them nice and straight, because that's the shape they'll be in when they're finished cooking. So, there we go. Let those sear for maybe a couple of minutes. Now obviously our temperature has dropped down to about 250, so we're going to have to get that back up where it belongs, and then we'll carry on from there. Alright, it's been about 3 minutes. Our temperature is back up to 350, so we're going to turn them over and sear the other side. There we go. All right. We'll let that sear for about another 3 minutes. It's only going to take about 12 to 15 minutes for this to reach 145 degrees, which is the recommended temperature. So it's a pretty quick. Most of it is in preparation, is where the time is taken, and this is the easy part. So stick around, I'll be back in just a minute. Our internal temperature on these two tenderloins is about 110 on the large one and about 120 on the small one. So it's time to put the glaze on and let that cook a little bit longer, but we need to turn them over first. Oh my, that's starting to look pretty darn good. Alright, we're going to put the glaze on, or the Dijon maple glaze. We'll let that sit on there for a little bit, and we'll turn them over and do the other side. Be generous, because there's plenty of it, and it adds a lot of flavor. Alright, our pork tenderloins are done. The temperature got up to about 150 on both of them, and I pulled them, brought them in, covered them with aluminum foil, just loosely is fine to keep them warm, and we'll let the juices redistribute, and they should be nice and juicy and tasty, and we'll find out in just a minute when we slice them and give them a taste test. Alright, these have rested for about 10 minutes, so we're going to take one out of here and slice it a little bit and see what we think. And what you need is a sharp knife. This one isn't the sharpest in the world, but it's a nice pink color. We'll see how they taste. All right, let's just see what we think here. It's basically falling apart. Miss Rosie, you want to taste this? Rosie, do you want to taste this?
Yeah.
Tenderloin? Come over here. You'll get some airtime.
That's good.
It is?
That's good. That's good.
It is good, isn't it? Want another bite? Eat that one. That's it for the pork tenderloin. We'll fix something to go with this a little bit later and have some more of it. Want some more?
That's good.
It's very good, very tender. This is basically the filet mignon on the pork side. So I'm very happy with it. If you have any questions, leave them down below. And until I speak with you again, and even after that, you stay focused. All right. That is good.